The show will continue to get reaction on the phasing in of other grades from the 6th of July. Let us now speak to Cosas representing the learners. Via Skype, we're joined by Teboho Magafane. He's the Secretary General of Cosas. Good afternoon to you, Teboho. Thank you so much for joining us here on the SABC News channel. So let's just pick up on that Eastern Cape story. The province having the highest number of infected pupils. So what's your take on that?
Well, thanks for giving us this opportunity. Firstly, we want to say the organization and the country who are dealing with the common enemy, which is COVID-19. And as the country now, we need to be united and we don't need to blame each other. We have sent our proposals to Department of Basic Education. Even today, they have not. But now, we are seeing learners being infected. We need to come up with a solution than disrupting schools as Cosas, because we want kids to get free, quality, and dynamic education than us disrupting public schools.
All right, so just before we talk about your plans going forward, let me just go back again to the Eastern Cape province. What is your leadership in the province saying regarding the status quo in that province? As I said, that as it is now, about 270 learners have tested positive for the COVID-19. How are you dealing with that situation specifically there in the Eastern Cape?
Look, Eastern Cape, we said as the NEC, all schools that are being infected, they must be closed, and then as they must be tested. Then after being quarantined, the school will be reopened than disrupting. So we are calling the Department of Health to work with Department of Basic Education to deal with health and safety of learners more than anything.
So Cosas has in the past been very concerned with the grade 7s and 12s returning to school. You, at some instances, carried out some shutdown campaigns with less disruptions, saying that the system was not ready to guarantee the safety of your members. More grades are going back next week. What's your take on that? Because you've just said that you've realized that going the disruptive route is not an answer.
Look, we can see that the infrastructure of our schools is an apartheid infrastructure, and learners, they can't go at once at school. The department must have a plan, all provinces must have a plan that in Gauteng they have, that each and every week per grade will go to school, and maybe next week, from Monday until Friday, grade 12s will go to school. The other week, the other grade, and all grades go at once. It's not a solution, and to disrupt also is not a solution. Hence, we are saying our country needs leaders than howlers now. So they must have a strategy than them not doing anything, than approaching this matter with a business approach.
What do you think the best strategy will be to deal with this particular matter? As you say that you've engaged the Department of Basic Education, what has the response been? What are the outcomes of your engagements with the minister?
Look, our outcomes with the minister, they are positive, and we can say that the state government they have listened to our proposal that we can't have a situation whereby all learners, they go at once at school. They can't. But what is important is the safety of learners more than anything.
All right, Teboho, let me just come in there. We know that the department made the announcement to say that there are certain arrangements that have been made. Some schools will be platooning, some grades will go to school on different days and so on. So my question to you this afternoon is, are you convinced as Cosas representing pupils that it is safe for your members to go back to school as more grades will be phased in from the 6th of July?
We can say that we are convinced as long COVID-19 regulations will be followed more than anything. And we are saying that what is important is the safety of learners. And remember, here we are dealing with two things: lives of our constituency and academic year. And remember, if we'll say as Cosas, kids from public schools. They must not go to school. It's unfair. While others in private schools they are going. Hence, we are saying that we have a problem with inequality in the country. Hence, we are saying that we must balance between the two, safety and academic calendar.
Because rightfully so, we are now halfway through the year, and we know that plans have been put in place for lives to be saved through some precautionary measures as announced by the Department of Basic Education. So how do you think the academic year is going to be saved for your members specifically?
We have spoke to the department that June exams, there must not be June month, there must not be written. We must check, it's either it's June or September, that one must be scrapped because of our constituency did not have time. Remember that academically we are not the same. We have those whom are good, we have those whom are not good. So we need to balance. We must not be harsh. But the department has agreed that they'll meet our members halfway more than anything. And we still have a meeting with the minister next week to wrap up everything and our proposals.
So what's that saying? Are you basically saying that the mid-year examinations will be scrapped?
I can say so. I can say so.
Has that been agreed upon between yourselves and the minister? Has it been agreed upon?
Hence, we are meeting again because there was a deadlock between us and the minister. Remember that she must go and consult, and I don't want to be a spokesperson, but she must go and consult the command council. But our stand still says, as the organization, media exams must not be written to our constituency or not be prepared.
All right, so that's your proposal so far. Teboho, we'll leave it at that. Thank you so much for coming through. That's Teboho Magafane. He is the Secretary General of Cosas, representing the students. They are basically saying that they can safely say it's safe for the children to return to school, but they have put forward a number of proposals to the Basic Education Minister. As he said, there is a follow-up meeting with the Minister, and we'll certainly hear on the outcomes of that particular meeting. Meanwhile,